what is India's challenge in BRICS? And in a world which is dominated by unilateral actions, how relevant these multilateral forums are today?
Well, I think that I must say that this visit by Prime Minister Modi for the 17th summit of BRICS is very significant for several reasons. As the Professor Swaran Singh has pointed out, of course, it's leading into India's chairmanship. And next year, 2026, will be like the 20th anniversary, 20 years from the time that the four countries, first BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, got together. Then South Africa was added. And then now in the last 2 years, more countries have been added. So is BRICS going to be relevant as a representation of the global South? I think that BRICS is showing every sign of being the most representative organization in recent times of the global South. And I think one of the factors that perhaps can lead to this conclusion is the way that President Donald Trump of the USA has been reacting so negatively to BRICS, particularly to the statements made by some people on the attempted de-dollarization and so on. But India is very clear on this point. We see BRICS as a leading representation, a grouping of the global South. We see it as non-Western. We do not see it as anti-Western. So it is a grouping which is going to represent the interests of the global South. And I think all the countries, certainly the founding countries, the BRICS, BRICS, were very much clear on this point that we wanted to have a voice of the global South in the discussions.
Ambassador Sikri, your thoughts on the fact that Putin and Xi Jinping are not there. What is your assessment, madam?
Look, I do not attach any significance to this. I'll tell you why. Because first of all, President Xi Jinping not coming, I think is as much an indication of his internal problems within China than it is of any dissatisfaction with a grouping like BRICS. I certainly think that President Xi Jinping would have liked to be there in BRICS and to continue to mold its future. People are saying, oh, he already met President Lula 2 times and so on, but I don't think that's the reason. I think the fact that the Prime Minister of China is coming is also significant because we do know that in recent months, the Prime Minister of China has been given more and more responsibilities and he's playing a much more dynamic and active role in shaping the future economy of China, in trying to prevent the economic stagnation from going further, in trying to rebuild consumption and domestic consumption and exports. We know that all that is happening. So I think the Prime Minister of China will be an important person to be there, Li Qiang, and everybody will listen to what he says because that will be a word coming directly from the leadership of China. So I don't think that him not coming is a problem. President Putin, we know, not coming for technical reasons. So I think that is certainly going to be okay. But I think that what the BRICS Summit will be able to do, because now with the new members that have come in, we represent such a big grouping, I mean, like almost half the world population, half the world, so much, a great proportion of the world production, and of the liquid petroleum assets, such a huge amount.
Professor Singh, you spoke about Global South. Ambassador Sikri also referred to that. I was reading an editorial by M.K. Narayanan in the Hindu today. He had its own position, but he said that Global South did not rally with India in a particular context. So is Global South something, a vague constituency, or does it shape up for India's interest when we require them? Your thoughts on it, sir?
I think clearly there are other contenders to become leader or voice of Global South. India definitely is one of them, and I'm sure very visible among the contenders here, partly because of India's historical credentials of standing for non-aligned movement, which at that time was focused on security, and therefore kind of prophesied that India must steer clear from military alliances, and multi-alignment is the new avatar of that non-alignment, which is development-centric, which talks about building economic developmental partnerships in as many sectors with as many countries as possible. And therefore, the way India has been able to successfully host several Voice of Global South meetings and Indian Prime Minister's visits have reflected India's connect with the Global South. Will be visible in BRICS meeting as well, which has now 10 partner nations, which are mostly from Global South. If you look at countries like Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Nigeria, Thailand, Uganda, Vietnam, Uzbekistan. These are, most of them are representative of global South nations. So Indian Prime Minister will have one more chance to be face to face in conversation with these leaders. And the whole five nation visit again is a reflection of India's focus on global South. And global South in any case has come to be a very important kind of a grouping to reckon with in terms of ensuring a more sustainable and balanced and inclusive development, which is the focus now. And in that sense, from original G7, mostly being the leading force in global governance to